On today's live daily news, party poopers stop an Airbnb from coming to Lake Nasworthy, an inmate from the Tom Green County Jail escapes, and they finally caught the Colorado City shooting suspect. Plus, Congressman Pfluger joins the show to talk about the transnational criminal organizations that are taking over the world. All this plus more, I'm Matt Trammell, and this is Live. But before we get to the news, situated downtown near the Concho River, the recently remodeled Suburban Suites provides an upscale, convenient location for your next business trip. Going to need a long-term stay? Look no further than the Suburban Suites. There you'll find completely renovated suites that will make you feel like you're at home. Plus, it's the only hotel just steps away from the McNeese Convention Center. For business or pleasure, choose the upgraded Suburban Suites. And now, on to the news. We start the show today with some news that could bum you out if you like a good time. Karens and Craigs all showed up to the city council meeting on Tuesday morning up in arms about the Airbnb that is going to be moving into Lake Nasworthy. One lady said that the partying, smoke from fires, and beer drinking would just be too much for her. Let's watch.
I live next door to the house that is requesting the zoning change. I live at 3217. The house asking for the zoning change is 3221. And I also live next door to the house that operated as a short-term rental for several years. I've been in my home 23 years. And during this time, some of the tenants that rented that home were disrespectful, abusive, inconsiderate, and apathetic. People who stay in STRs at the lake want to invite their friends and family to join them, and many of them disregard the rules totally. They do things at the lake that they wouldn't do anywhere else, especially when alcohol is involved, and alcohol is involved nearly every weekend. Personally, I've had to cope with offensive language, loud music, cell phone lights shining in my house. They turned them off when I walked out the door. Beer cans being thrown in my yard. Smoke from a fire pit that they built, one of the renters while they were there. A potato gun being shot off, which got me out of my house because I thought somebody was shooting a gun. The fireworks being shot toward my house, trespassing, theft, using my dock for their purposes, chasing their unleashed dogs across my property, and parents allowing their children to do things like throw rocks, which kids will do things but not at my pets. And that was an issue.
I mean, how abusive could a short-term rental be? Well, one outraged gentleman said that having an Airbnb would threaten his entire family.
I'm Daniel Gossett, 3225 Red Bluff West. I am right next to it as well. I lived the horde earlier. I am very passionate. I'm very heated about this. I tried to raise my young daughters next to this the first time. They are now teenage daughters. Anyone up here sitting that says that they'll have an STR next door to them is lying or has not lived it. I have. I've had horror stories. I do not want to relive this. If I do, it's just gonna be ugly again. We are very frustrated. I'm very frustrated because, I've walked out my door, my daughter's saying, "Who's on our dock?" I don't know, I'll walk down there. "Hey, what are you guys doing?" "Well, we're just fishing off the dock, you want us to leave?" And I was like, "Well, you kind of rented the place a couple houses down. Don't you wanna go over there?" "Well, I just thought this was for everybody. What are you gonna do about it?" My young daughter's next to me. That is a very frustrating situation for me. Luckily, she was there because you can't come to my property and threaten me like that. And it will happen again. I walk out front, somebody's stealing my firewood. "Man, what are you doing? That's my firewood." "I thought this is for everybody." "No, your house is down there. This is my house. If you want something from me, you ask me for it, I'll give you a shirt off my back. but don't take something from me and don't threaten my family. So this is threatening my family again.
Thank you very much.
The council went back and forth on the issue. Leading the opposition, Mayor Brenda Gunner said that she had a short-term rental trying to move into her area of the woods, and she is definitely voting that down as well. As for some voice of reason, Councilmember Lucy Gonzalez had this to say.
It's not any different than myself when I'm at home and my neighbor's having a party and they're loud, their cars are all along the side of the road, the trash is overbearing. It's not just at the STRs. It is practically all over town, and there's nothing we can do. And you don't want to get your neighbor upset because then it starts off, so you kind of like wait it out and move on. But all I'm saying is that I would like to see this approved for the mere fact that I love for people to come in from out of town and see our lake and enjoy it and come back. And I would tell you that probably for the most part, it is not these big parties that we're talking about. It is probably families that are 3, 4, 6 that are just going to enjoy a weekend. And that's my belief. That's what I think. So with that, I would approve.
Despite the attempt, the council denied the short-term rental, with Gonzalez being the only yes. To see the entire conversation with even more public comment, see the story exclusively on SanAngeloLive.com. In crime news today, a Colorado City shooting suspect who was involved in that shooting at the Relax Inn last month in Colorado City has been arrested. We told you back in May that an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon against a woman had occurred at the hotel, and the suspect, Marcus Stanford, was on the run. At the time of the shooting, a reader contacted San Angelo Live complaining that the Colorado City Police Department just wasn't looking for Stanford. They thought he was still in town. Despite those cries last night at around 8 o'clock, Stanford was taken in custody by the U.S. Marshals in San Jose, California. He will now be brought back to Texas to answer for the shooting. And Stanford isn't the only one that was getting away from the law. According to court documents, an inmate in the Tom Green County Detention Facility has been indicted this past month after escaping custody and barricading himself inside of a truck. On March 15th, 2023, Delfino Hill was arrested for evading and going off bond for evading. Yeah, what a runner. 6 days later, Hill attempted a breakout by simply walking through an unsecured door at the Tom Green County Jail. Moments later, San Angelo Police and Tom Green County Sheriff deputies received several phone calls about a man in the orange jumpsuit weaving out of traffic on Highway 277. Deputies responded to the area and located Hill, but by then he had jumped into a truck and barricaded himself inside. Those deputies were able to take Hill in custody. Hill has been indicted on several charges, including the escaping custody, evading arrest, and even an assault on a family member. He is currently an inmate in the Tom Green County Detention Facility on a $535,000 bond and isn't planning on going anywhere again. And in more lighter news, the San Angelo songwriter and country music chart topper Case Hardin is heading back into the studio to record his third album. Hardin has released 2 albums so far in his career, his first being Over Fort Worth and his second, Lucky Him. Hardin has released some singles this year, including The Most Beautiful Place I've Ever Been and Stoned, which is making its way up the charts as we speak. Of course, you've heard The Most Beautiful Place I've Ever Been right here on Live Daily News. Hardin's 2023 tour Honky Tonk Highway has stops in Houston, San Antonio, Fort Worth, Abilene, Midland, and of course his hometown of San Angelo. Hardin will work hard with winning award songwriter Bernie Nelson and Dickie Kaser for this upcoming album. And for weather, I know we told you yesterday that this rain was gone, but hey, it's weather, so these things change. For tonight, the Concho Valley has a 40% chance of thunderstorms. Those counties, especially for those counties heading out towards Midland, they could see more than those up north. For the rest of the week, be expecting high temperatures that we haven't seen this year yet. On Friday, it's going to be 100, and on Sunday, it will be a crazy 103. Stay tuned all week for updates on the weather. And finally, the Angelo State Ram baseball team has moved one step closer to a national championship. Ryan Chadwick has more on that in a second, but first, here's a message from Jim Bass Ford.
We know you're looking for a truck. And of course, you're looking for a great deal. We've got the trucks and we've got the deals. Get a brand new 2023 Ford F-150 STX 4x4, just $475 per month. Right now, you can choose from several different colors, and you can only find these at Jim Bass Ford, Houston Hart at Arden Road, or 24/7 at jimbassford.com.
The Angelo State Rams kept their national title hopes alive last night against the North Greenville Crusaders. After a deadlock pitcher's duel between the two teams kept the game scoreless for the first 4 innings, Angelo State finally gained ground in the 5th. Justin Harris hit a 2 RBI single to right field, scoring 2 runs. The Crusaders battled back with a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 5th, but Angelo State's offense had North Greenville figured out. The Rams scored 1 more in the 7th, 2 in the 8th, and then 1 more in the 9th to win the game 6-2. Solid pitching from the Division II Pitcher of the Year, Cade Bragg, won the duel in the end, and the Rams remain perfect in the Division II College World Series. Next up, the Rams play the semifinal matchup against the winners of North Greenville and Southern New Hampshire. Angelo State is 1 win away from the World Series final. For all the updated coverage on the Rams throughout their World Series run, be sure to check in every day at sanangelolive.com/sports.
Cleaning has never been more essential, and our health has never been more precious. Yet with rising costs, we are having to make hard choices when it comes to buying essentials. Carpet Tech wants to help you maintain a clean and healthy home and afford other essentials like fuel and groceries. So we're giving away a $250 prepaid gift card every week. Anyone who books any Carpet Tech cleaning appointment is entered to win. Even in this economy, we hope an extra $250 will make a difference.
Good afternoon and welcome to the show. I want to thanks for joining us, and I want to welcome Congressman August Pfluger to the show. Congressman, thank you for your time and for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to be on the show and to have a good discussion.
Well, you are having a hearing today, a subcommittee on Homeland Security hearing, and it's dealing with both China and transnational criminal organizations, those cartels across the border. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, just to frame this, I'm on the Homeland Security Committee. They named me a subcommittee chairman of the Intelligence and Counterterrorism Subcommittee. It's really important, as we obviously know, that the cartels are acting, with basically no consequences, that we have a wide open border, fentanyl, human trafficking, other crime is affecting our communities. And it's really tragic. So this will be the 5th hearing that I have led, which, by the way, is more than all the other subcommittees combined on Homeland Security. We've been very active. We've looked at China. We've looked at border issues. We're making sure that we talk to FBI, senior FBI personnel, and I can talk about that later. But today, we're focusing on transnational criminal organizations, i.e. cartels.
Okay.
And this is holding the administration accountable for what they have done to not only create a wide open border, but to inflict such pain and tragedy on our communities, whether it be fentanyl or human trafficking. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. We want to expose the administration for their failure to secure our communities and to secure our homeland. And so we expect to get some good information out and to tell the truth about what's going on.
Well, and as you know, here fentanyl is a big problem. You know, we put out the daily arrest report for Tom Green County, and it's almost a daily event that someone is arrested for possession of fentanyl, and that's a deadly thing, and that is a recent occurrence that wasn't happening 2 years ago.
It is recent, and this is different. You know, we've always had an issue with substances for years, for decades. The cartels have trafficked this, but here's the difference. In previous years, in previous issues, whether it be cocaine or whether it be marijuana or whether, it doesn't matter. Most of them were grown. They were, produced in Central and South America. Then they were made into drugs and they were, shipped and trafficked into the United States. The difference now is that 90+% of the ingredients which make fentanyl are coming from China, and they're shipping it directly from China, where the Chinese Communist Party and the malign actors are dealing directly with the cartels. They ship it to Mexico. They produce what ends up being a portion fentanyl and then maybe some either over-the-counter or prescription drug. And you can name, whether it be Xanax or whether it be oxycodone or other, known prescriptions, or they lace other things in even including things like vaping. They lace it with fentanyl. And the reason they're doing it is because, number one, it's cheap. Number two, they can sell it and they can make a lot of money, and their profit margin is a lot. And it's very addictive. And they have created an epidemic where we are now seeing overdoses. These are not, we're seeing poisoning. And I was going to say they're not overdoses. They should be classified as poisoning. And it's just pure death that is being rained down on our communities. And we need to check the cartels. And I'm working with people in the Congress to figure out a game plan on how we can attack this. They are acting like terrorist organizations, and they are terrorizing our communities. That's the way that I view it. And I think that it's our job to come up with these solutions. This hearing today will expose some of the facts. We'll look at the Chinese Communist Party and their role in assisting the cartels and how the cartels are acting in our backyard. It's not acceptable. It needs to stop. And I'm going to be part of the solution.
Congressman, is the Mexican government, what is their role? Are they helping or hindering in this process?
I think that their words would, try to lead you to believe that they're helping, but I don't believe they're helping. I think they're, they're standing by while this is happening. And this is where we need strong leaders in the United States to hold them accountable. We need a president who will go to Mexico City and will have those hard conversations. Look, Mexico and the Mexican people are being terrorized themselves by the cartels. It's not fair to their population. It's not fair to the trade that we do, agriculturally speaking, energy-wise. These things come out of the district that I represent. And we need leaders who will go to Mexico, who will stand up and say, you need to do everything you can to counteract these cartels. And right now, we don't see a lot of movement on that. I think some of the words would suggest that they believe in stopping them, but I don't believe they're actually doing that.
What would you like to see the Biden administration do? In a perfect world, what would the policy change be at the top in the Biden administration?
It's very easy and very foundational. It happened during President Trump. It's called Remain in Mexico, the Migrant Protection Protocols. That would change the dynamics and the course of the amount of human trafficking, the amount of drug trafficking, and the amount of illegal immigration into our country. And it says this: if you come through a second or a third country and then continue to cross borders to get to the United States to ask to be a refugee or to seek asylum, you are shipped out immediately because you crossed several countries in which you could have sought asylum or sought refugee status. We were doing this during 2016 to 2020. And yesterday in a hearing, I asked a very senior member of DHS who is responsible for immigration policy, how many illegal immigrants have been apprehended at the southern border since President Biden took office. And he didn't know. He said 2.5, 3 million. No, it's actually 5.5 million. And that's the problem. So the number one policy that needs to be changed is the political will to have a Remain in Mexico policy where the United States government holds the Mexican government accountable to work with us, not against us.
And I know this is a complex issue, and this hearing is another step in the right direction in addressing the transnational criminal organizations. And I want to give you the last word. I know we both have time constraints. So, in a nutshell, where are we, and what are you going to do today?
Today, we're getting the facts to the American public. We're asking the hard questions. We want to know what, when, where, and why these cartels are able to operate, without impunity and to do the things that they're doing to our kids and our communities. Those facts are important. We're telling a story of the failures of the Biden administration, the weakness of this administration to not protect our communities, our homeland. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do, is to move the ball down the field. And I honestly don't know that we need new legislation. when it comes to border security, but when it comes to fentanyl, and I also sit on the Energy and Commerce Committee, we're going to work very closely to make sure that those people who would traffic fentanyl, who would do the poisoning of so many people, 100,000 plus, they will be held accountable. And we will continue to increase those penalties and to make them so severe that people are going to have to think twice. And that's the kind of work that we're doing here in Washington. It is a complex issue, but it is a very, very dangerous substance, and it needs to stop.
Congressman, thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule and your busy day to visit with us. It's always a pleasure, and we can't wait to see you again.
Well, thank you so much, and God bless.
All right, thanks. Bye.
When it comes to unique pieces you can't find anywhere else, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is your one-stop shop. With over 24 years in the diamond and coin industry, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is West Texas's choice for diamonds, jewelry, coins, silver, and gold. Owner Bill Kano stands by his work and offers free consultations, including estate jewelry. Don't just trust anyone with your valuables. Come see the staff at Kano's at 1016 West Beauregard in San Angelo. And thank you, Yantis. Thank you, August. It's a very, very big and serious situation down there, whether you're talking about the border, whether you're talking about China, or whether you're talking about this fentanyl crisis that is just taking over America. So it is very important to stay aware and stay up to date, and that is why we wanted to bring Congressman Pfluger on the show, so we want to thank him again. This is Live Daily News. We're here every weekday during the 4 o'clock hour. We're going to be giving you news and an interview to get you through the day. For everybody here at San Angelo Live, I'm Matt Trammell, and we will see you guys tomorrow.